Tourism is on the rise, and some say so are the risks.
Yeah, dozens of Americans have died after cosmetic surgery in the Dominican Republic over the 14-year period. Now, the CDC says between 2009 and 2022, 93 Americans lost their lives after having a procedure done in the DR. Now, 92% of those deaths were Brazilian butt lifts.
Dr. Smita Ramanathan is a board-certified plastic surgeon. She joins us now with guidance over traveling for medical procedures. Thank you for being here. Some people are familiar with medical tourism, but I kind of get a sense that it's something that combines a little bit of tourism, but you can also get a medical operation.
Exactly. It's essentially traveling for a cosmetic procedure or any medical procedure. And, the appeal is that they get a vacation, but also the cost can be significantly cheaper. There's shorter wait times for surgery. And a lot of these places offer these all-inclusive package deals where they get that vacation, they get the recovery, and they get the procedure at the same time.
Okay, so talk about some of the potential dangers associated with going out of the country to have a procedure done.
Right. There's just a lot of unknowns, right? Oftentimes, we're not quite clear what the credentials of the surgeons are. It's hard to decipher, again, where the procedure is being performed. Oftentimes, they're not credentialed or licensed facilities. Patient selection can be unreliable as well. So oftentimes, patients may not be medically optimized, which increases their risk for risks after surgery. And finally, early travel back can also increase risks, such as embolic events.
Are there generally some places that are more safe than others? I've visited some hospitals that take part in medical tourism in Asia, and they claim to be very safe. I've also been on a flight from Turkey where half the plane was with guys that had the hair transplant.
Yes.
So are there?
Absolutely. I mean, I think we have some great colleagues across the world that are very, very qualified in what they do. And so it's just a matter of doing your research and making sure that you're going to these doctors that are credentialed and they're operating out of facilities that are credentialed.
Obviously, we hope that people are doing their research before they end up going to one of these facilities. But what are some potential red flags that you think that people should spot and not follow through with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is to make sure your surgeon is actually a plastic surgeon. That you're getting that part.
Not in the basement.
You'd be surprised that you're getting anesthesia from an anesthesiologist, that the facility is an actual surgery center or a hospital that has very strict surgical and safety protocols, and that you also have met your surgeon before the day of surgery. And finally, I think you want to make sure that you have a very concrete plan for your post-operative recovery, whether that be travel, but also when you're back home. If there's an issue, you should be able to reach somebody easily.
What happens if one of your patients comes to you and say, I'm thinking of going overseas to get some sort of, whether it's a Brazilian butt lift or something else?
Yeah, I tell them they have to do their research. I mean, I think at the end of the day, oftentimes, sadly, we forget that cosmetic surgery is still a medical procedure, and there can be really devastating, life-threatening results sometimes. So we have to do our research.
Yeah, there's dangers here in many cases, but also overseas.
Exactly.
Well, doctor, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.